Hi everyone, in today's lesson we're going to talk about more difficult log equations. We spoke about basic log equations last week. Just to refresh your memory, I'm going to insert a new page here and just review it. You do not have to write this down. Okay, so ones that we've done in the past were log base 3 of x plus 2 equals 2. So what you would do is you would take the base and circle it and do your loop-de-loop. So you'll have 3 squared equals x plus 2, and you'd solve simply. 9 equals x plus 2 minus 2 on both sides, and we get 7. And that would be my final answer. We check it to see if it worked, but these are what we call basic log equations. Now let's move back to the original sheet that I gave you, and we'll talk about more complicated ones. So let's look at example number 1. If we had this example, how could we make it look more basic? Well, we'd actually want to use log rules first and use the properties and simplify this left-hand side. So using the properties of condensing logs, we can make this in one simple log. So log base 3 of, well, what does subtraction mean? This divided by this. So x squared minus 4 over x plus 2. And bring down the equal sign and bring down the 2. So now that we have this in condensed log form, we can now rewrite it in exponential form. So we're going to circle the base, go up to the power, and come back down. So this would be 3 squared equals x squared minus 4 over x plus 2. On this left-hand side, we have that 3 squared equals 9. And we have x squared minus 4 over x plus 2. We can put this over 1. And we can cross multiply. So 1 times x squared minus 4 is just x squared minus 4. Now 9 times x plus 2, don't forget to distribute, is 9x plus 18. And now we just have to get everything equal to 0 so that we could factor, t-chart, and solve. So minus 9x, we could put this in the middle. So this would be x squared minus 9x minus 4 equals 18. Then we should subtract 18 on both sides. So we have x squared minus 9x minus 22 equals 0. Now why don't you take a minute, see if you could factor this expression using AM. The coefficient here is 1, so we don't need to do earmuff. So we want two numbers that multiply to negative 22 that add to negative 9. Hit resume when you're done. Okay, so you should have gotten x minus 11 x plus 2, and when you do your t-chart, you should have gotten x equals 11 and x equals negative 2. Okay, now that we have our answers, we have to check them to see that they work into the original. So you want to check these values in here to see if I'll get a negative number. Or you can simply use the calculator, plug in your x values using the change of base, and see if you get 2. So pause the video and check to see which answers work and which ones do not work. Okay, you should have noticed that when you plugged in negative 2 here, negative 2 squared is 4. 4 minus 4 is 0. This is not good. We can't have zeros or negatives here. If we plugged in negative 2 here, negative 2 plus 2 is 0 again. Still, that's no good. We can't have negatives there. So you wanted to go down to where we had x equals negative 2, and you want to write reject. And x equals 11 should in fact work. Let's see. 11 squared minus 4, that's going to be a positive number. And 11 plus 2, that's also a positive number. So that's the only one that works. So we're going to reject x equals negative 2. Okay, I'll help you set up the second one, and then I want you to solve it on your own. So we want to condense this log form into one single log. So if I have an addition problem, we have log base x plus 3 of 2x plus 3 times x plus 5, because if we're adding, it came from multiplying, and we're going to say that equals 2. And now we could do the loop-de-loop. Circle the base, jump up to the power, come back down to this whole thing. So it should be x plus 3 squared equals 2x plus 3 times x plus 5. Now this over here, this x plus 3 squared, that's double distribute. So you want to make sure that you are foiling that out or double distributing it. So this will be x plus 3 times x plus 3 equals 2x plus 3 times x plus 5. So why don't you take a minute, double distribute the right side, double distribute the left-hand side, get it all equal to 0, see if you can factor, see if you can T-chart and solve, and then hit resume when you're done. Okay, so this side should be x squared plus 3x plus 3x plus 9. This side is 2x squared plus 10x plus 3x plus 15. And if I want to combine like terms on this side and on this side, I'd have x squared plus 6x plus 9 and 2x squared plus 13x plus 15. Now I want to bring everything over to one side. This has the highest power and over here, but I'd probably take the x squared and subtract it from the 2. So minus x squared, let's do this all in one step, minus 6x and minus 9. So we should have gotten, these will all cancel to 0, x squared plus 7x minus 6. Plus 6, sorry. And if we factor this using AM, you should have gotten x plus 6, x plus 1. And when you do your T-chart, you should have gotten x equals negative 6 and x equals negative 1. Okay, take a minute, pause it, fix your algebra, and now let's decide to check. So we need to check both in the base and up here to see that we get a positive number, not 0 or negative. So if you put in negative 6 plus 3 in this base is going to give us negative 3. We can't have a negative in here either. So even if we put it here, 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. Negative 12 plus 3 is negative 9. So again, this is not good. We can't have a negative here or here. So we're going to reject negative 6. Let's see if x equals negative 1 will work. So negative 1 plus 3 is 2. That's positive. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Plus 3 is positive 1. That works. And it'll work over here too. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4, and it works in the base. I will go over in greater detail in class about the checks. So if you could please remind me tomorrow in class about that, that would be awesome. All right, let's move on to the next page. Okay, I'd like you to try example number 3 and 4 all on your own. One of them, I will give you a hint though, you will have to use the quadratic formula. You will not be able to factor. So take a minute, slowly take your time on these two, and then hit resume for the answers. Okay, here are your answers. Okay, and here's the bottom. If you need to pause the video, go back up and copy things down. All right, make sure you come into class tomorrow with questions. Have a good night.